Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan here. Welcome back to the channel. A couple of months ago, I had a chance to review the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate service available on your Xbox, on your PC. You also get Xbox Live included in that bunch, and I truly believe that at $15 a month, it is an absolute steal. I could do a video saying, hey, you know what they have on that Game Pass? They have that Gears 5, Halo. It's like, really? Come on, Juan, out of all the games, that is maybe the most obvious thing. Same thing with Forza. So I thought that I would dedicate an entire video to talk about some of the games that are awesome, but you look at the box art and maybe it doesn't give you the best first impression. So I'm going to be talking about 5 games that you can play right now as of November 2019, because games do cycle in and out of the service, but these are 5 games available on Xbox Game Pass for the Xbox. But before we keep going, if you enjoy my videos, consider subscribing, hitting on that thumbs up, and go to the comments section and let other people as well as myself know which are some other awesome games available right now on Xbox Game Pass. But without further ado, with this list, let's kick it off with the first one, a hack and slash game that can be played with up to 4 players. Let's talk about Riverbond. Riverbond was actually one of the first games that I played when I got Xbox Game Pass, because I was so overwhelmed with all of the Gears games, so many mainstream options, but I wanted to play something co-op with my wife, and considering the fact that we love hack and slash games, it looked like Minecraft but a lot more detail, very vibrant graphics, so we gave it a shot. The game can be played with up to 4 players, but don't feel obligated to find a friend to play the game with, because it's still fun even by yourself. And not only is this a charming game, it's also admittedly kind of a weird game. First, let's talk about the characters. Rather than having classes, all of them pretty much do the same thing. The difference is that you get some skins which are interesting, but in addition to that, there are skins from some of our favorite indie games such as Guacamelee and Bastion. When talking about weapons, you can hack and slash your way with your basic sword with a swipe attack, but you can actually hold that as well and charge it up for a much stronger attack. And you do have a gun, which what I appreciate is that it takes place like a twin stick shooter. So you use both analog sticks, you also use the shoulder buttons, and it's very responsive. You will find new weapons as you make your way through the levels, and some of them, much like the skins, are very much out there. You're talking about upvotes, different guns, pieces of meat, things that in a real-world scenario, they should do no damage, but they should be pretty damn tasty. But in this game, I love to be able to seek those out, because it's always the curiosity of which other weapons are there. Now, I do have to point out that the game is not super easy, but you're not gonna go into this for the difficulty. It is a casual experience, to the point that whenever I sit down to play this game, I'm usually checking out YouTube videos on the second screen, I'm checking out a live stream, so it's not something that needs your absolute attention. There are story elements, there is dialogue, but to me, all of that is like a bonus. So if you like those things, if you look for that when you play a game, great. But at the same time, the game doesn't punish you for skipping those things, because it's all about having fun. Something that I really appreciate about the game is that instead of forcing you to play levels in a very set order, you can actually choose that when you first go to the main menu. So if you want a water theme stage, if you want to go more of the underground, you can do all of that and then go right back to the menu and check out another level of your choosing. The game does have bosses as well, and you can actually see them on that main screen, but they're not overly difficult. I think that patience is virtue, whether you're playing by yourself or with friends. It's just about dodging the attacks, but it's not going to be this highly complicated Dark Souls-esque scenario where you have to memorize every little thing. It's just about make it out alive, and even if you die, the game is very forgiving in bringing you right back. So if you want a casual experience, whether it be by yourself or with friends, consider playing Riverbond. So considering the fact that Riverbond is not the most challenging game on Xbox Game Pass, you may be looking at me going, Juan, I need something that's going to challenge me, that's going to make me damn near throw my controller to the screen. Well, people, fear not, because I think that this second choice is going to be right up there for you. Initially, this game came out on Xbox 360, and I was panned by critics, and I don't understand why, because that's why I didn't play it until I got Xbox Game Pass. If you want an awesome and very challenging beat-em-up game, I think you're going to want to check out Double Dragon Neon. Double Dragon Neon came out in 2012 for the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and PC, and upon release, this game was hated by critics. And I'm not talking about, oh, it was an average game, so got an average score. I'm saying people damn near hated this game. I like to judge and play games for myself, right? I can't just be peer pressured into thinking that just because somebody else thinks it's bad, I gotta think it's bad as well. I do gotta point out that I'm a casual Double Dragon player. I haven't played most of the games, even going all the way back to the original consoles that they came out for. So maybe people just thought it was an average game, but for an average player like myself, I thought it was awesome. You can play this game either by yourself or with a friend, but I had a lot of fun playing by myself because it forced me to figure out the little gameplay mechanics. At first glance, it looks like your traditional beat-em-up game. You jump, there's the attack button, there's the grab button, and you're good to go, but there are specific button combinations that when you master that, you feel like a badass. The thing you have to master in this game has to be the counter system, so you can actually choose to dodge by pressing one of the shoulder buttons, and your character ducks down. If you do that at the perfect time, not only do you dodge the enemy's attack, you get a temporary attack boost, so you feel like you're actually getting the hang of it. And once I figured that out, that first stage that I kept dying time and time again, because believe me, I did, I was able to get through it in a breeze. In addition to that, they have this interesting tape mechanic that I don't love it, but I at least appreciate the fact that you can add some customization to your character, whether it be more attack, more health. You got to find these tapes. You go to a store, and the more that you have of a specific tape, the higher chance you have for an upgrade. And you're going to have to do a lot of grinding in order to do this, because it's not like there was a shop on every stage or just a bunch of tapes laying around. So I very much had to go back to stages that I was familiar with, where I feel like I could progress without dying, get some of those tapes so I can continue making progress. You also have special attacks, and those will vary greatly depending on your playstyle. I initially had the spinning fire kick, and that was really good for smaller enemies, that you could lump them all up and take them all down, but that wasn't so great with larger enemies. So the good thing is that you can actually go to a menu, change that up a little bit, and I feel like I've talked for far too long without talking about the main thing that I love about the game, and that's its sense of style. Not just talking about the visuals, but the soundtrack as well.
Some discipline.
You are going to get frustrated playing the game. You may even want to cry while playing Double Dragon Neon. Not that I did it, but you are going to want to come back for more, and ultimately, I think that's why Double Dragon Neon on Xbox Game Pass is absolutely a game that you should check out. So while we're in this retro vibe with games like Double Dragon Neon, games that can take us back to the days of the NES and the Super Nintendo, there's a modern game with that retro twist that is available on Xbox Game Pass. I played it time and time again, and I love my experience despite the fact that I die non-stop, but maybe you're much better at that game than I am. Let's talk about Blazing Chrome.
Blazing Chrome.
I feel that something that does not get enough credit on the Xbox Game Pass service is the fact that so many games come out on the same day that they come out for other consoles, but because you're already subscribed, you get the game without having to pay an additional fee. This is a game that I saw a trailer for, and I was like, man, I really want to play this. So I was looking up footage for the PS4 version, I was looking up the prices for the Nintendo Switch, and then all of a sudden I saw, oh, it's available right now on Xbox Game Pass. And I don't know if you can tell, but I think, people, that this game may be somewhat inspired by Contra. I don't know, it's just, I look at it, and something about it just makes me think that. This game can be played either by yourself or with a friend, and you're going to be dying time and time again, and I feel like after Double Dragon Neon talking about this, apparently, I like to torture myself a bit. In this game, you are the resistance. The humans lost the war, so now you gotta fight. I feel like this is a toned-down version of the Contra games, but that does not in any way, people, make it an easy game. It is somewhat more forgiving in that when you hit a continue, it does not take you all the way back to the beginning of the stage. If you reach the checkpoint, you can start it from there. The look, the feel, the style, everything about Blazing Chrome keeps me coming back for more and more, and I really wish, people, that I could show you footage for later stages, but I keep dying. Unlike Double Dragon Neon, where I was able to progress and eventually beat the stage, with this game, I just kept dying, and I really had to put down my controller, but then a couple of days later, I would be able to go back to that stage and beat the damn thing. They have a solid variety of weapons, whether it be long range, short range. Some of them have charged attacks, and those are really good for the aerial enemies, or if you want to swipe around and get rid of a ton of enemies at the same time, and it is so satisfying. The boss battles feel really engaging, and you really do get a sense of your own progression, because when I first started playing the game, I just kept dying non-stop and I cannot beat that first boss. But now that I went back to record some footage, I was able to do that on the first try, and the fact that I was able to cherish that moment, record it and share it with you, is something that I will never forget. And I don't know if there's a whole lot more I can talk about the game except the fact that it embraces its influences, it pulls off this retro style game with modern vibes successfully, and that rewarding feeling that you get when you actually beat a stage that you've been trying time after time again to beat, that right there makes this game a must-play on Xbox Game Pass. This next situation is the perfect example of what happens when you buy a new game, but it's a sequel. It's got that 2 on the cover and you haven't played the original one. I was actually looking around online to check out where I could play The Blob 1, and lo and behold, it was available on Xbox Game Pass. It is a great puzzle platformer, so let's talk about that one. And this is a game available on pretty much every platform. Think about the fact that the second one is available on the Wii. It is that old, and it's a fun and simple game for adults looking for a joyful experience, because the objective is quite simple. You have cities that look a little bit sad, look a little bit on the downside. So it's up to you, my friends, you and me, to paint this in a variety of different colors. As you visit different locations, you will find creatures that give you an objective, such as paint an entire row of buildings in a very specific color. The way this works is that instead of just picking and choosing the color in a menu system, you actually have the different colors around the city. So say you want to get the purple color, you can bind the ones available out there, and that gives you the color that you need. If you want to wipe yourself off and start from scratch, you can find some water and that'll clean you right up. Now that can actually become a challenge, because as I kept progressing through the game, the water actually became part of the obstacles, because say the objective was paint this entire row in purple, oh, but there's a little bit of water, so if I touch that, I go back to the default, so I gotta mix everything up again. But I think that works, because it's not the stress about killing a specific enemy, although you can attack enemies, but really, that's not the priority of the game. It's more so like, hey, here's a little bit of action for those that need it. This is a game that's not about the violence, it's about the adventure, it's about the combination of colors, it's about jumping around. And I think that's great, because so many games out there focus on the violence that everything else becomes secondhand, and here, they put the fun, the platforming at number 1. So if you like games like Splatoon, where it's all about the color, or you like games like Katamari Damacy that are a little bit out there, they're definitely not the traditional game, because when we talk about platforming, people jump to Super Mario, but this is a platforming game as well. If there's one thing that I was not in love with the game, because every level is laid out like a stage, there's no checkpoint system. So don't do what I did, which is that I stopped at a stage just before I concluded it, thinking that it was autosaved. I had to go right back and beat the entire thing again, but I didn't mind it, and I think that says a lot about The Blob. So if you have Xbox Game Pass and you want to take a break from games that are very violent, but you're still an adult and you want a very fun game, consider giving The Blob a shot. And before we get to the last game, please consider going to that comment section and let me know which are some other awesome, non-obvious games available on Xbox Game Pass, because maybe down the line, I do a part 2 of this video with your actual picks. But now with this last game, it takes us back to Riverbond, which can be played with up to 4 players. But this one, it is incredibly challenging, dare I say, even more challenging than Double Dragon Neon or Blazing Chrome, and this was made by the same people that brought to us Rogue Legacy, one of my favorite roguelike games of all time. But because of its title, because of the way it was presented, maybe just a lot of people did not know about it until now. So now, let's talk about Full Metal Furies. Furies, okay? Check out the spelling. Full Metal Furies is a very interesting game, and I'm gonna try to explain what I mean by that. The fact that it was made by the same people that brought us Rogue Legacy meant that there was an expectation about this game, and I think that it delivered it, but the problem is that they tried so many things with this game that people just did not know what it was. I mean, look at the title. It's called Full Metal Furies. That right there is maybe one of the worst names of all time. You think about the movies, you think about the anime show, you think about something else that I am not going to show on the video, and then you go into the game thinking that, well, the previous game was single player only, so this one probably is as well. And no, this is a game that can be played with up to 4 players. And based on footage, the next logical conclusion could be, well, it's a hack and slash game, right? Well, it is, but it's not, because you have skill trees, it is class-based, so you have 4 different classes that you can pick and choose from, and within that, you can level up weapons, and not just that, you can find blueprints of additional weapons, spend gold on that to unlock the new ones, and level those up as well. If this seems very overwhelming, it is. The footage that you're looking at is from the playthrough that I started with my Xbox Game Pass version of the game, but I poured many hours into the PC version, and there I've gone up multiple levels, and it's so detailed that it almost feels like you're playing an MMO or a game like Diablo. Now, what was very interesting is that because I was playing it solo on Xbox, I found out that it plays very differently. Usually you have 4 characters, but when you play solo, you get to pick 2 characters and swap between them. Oddly enough, think about this like Marvel vs. Capcom. So that meant that I really had to pick and choose the characters that I wanted to level up. So I went with the tank for the short range attacks and the shield, and for the second one, I went with the engineer because of the gun and the fact that she has a little robot that you can throw out there and unleash hell on those enemies. You'll notice that some of the enemies have a shield of a blue or green color. That's because the 2 characters that I chose, that's their primary color. What that means is that that character has to attack the enemy of that same color to bring down the shield. Now, once you bring down that shield, anybody can attack the enemy, and it does bring an additional set of challenges in the game that I really do appreciate. So what all of this means is that if you play by yourself, you're guaranteed a specific experience tailor-made to your abilities as a gamer. But if you play with a group of friends, much like an MMO or other RPGs out there, you can become the tank, or the engineer, or the sniper, and each one plays completely differently from the other one. I just think it's unfortunate that so many people did not give this game a shot. The developers were very ambitious with this project, and I really think they made something special. It was maybe just a matter of scaling it back, but because it's available on Xbox Game Pass, you can play it, you can check it out for yourself, you can get other friends that also have Xbox Game Pass, connect with them online, and have an awesome experience playing Full Metal Furies. So those have been 5 awesome games that are available right now on Xbox Game Pass that I think you should check out. Much like any subscription service, not even just games, talking about Netflix, Hulu, etc., not everything is in there forever. Obviously, things like Forza, Halo, Gears, because they're underneath the Microsoft umbrella, they should be there forever, but the same thing can't be said about other awesome games that I was initially going to have on this video, but then I saw leaving soon, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be the person that's gonna persuade you to check out a game. You go to your console and it's like, wait a minute, that's not there. Juan, you lied to me. I'm not gonna be doing that, because I think we should all have great times playing great games. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting on that notifications bell. I do occasionally stream right here on YouTube, but in addition to that, I do have a Mixer channel over at mixer.com/MrPlayerJuan. That's where I play the continuation of a game that maybe I played here. So I started playing Pikmin on this channel on a live stream, but I didn't just want to have 20 part 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. So I'm doing that on Mixer, so follow me over there, and up until next time, thank you for watching and supporting, and take care, everybody.